What's up, guys? Hello, and welcome back to Bite Size Security. I'm your host, Jimmy, and today I'm bringing you a bit of a different video, a bit more relaxed. You can see I don't have the headphones on, and it's more going to be me just talking. And the reason for this is the following. I was talking to my friend, and shout out to my friend, Steve. He gave me this good input about my channel and my videos, and he said, you know, Jimmy, you assume in the videos that the people that are watching are already in the industry, right? And this is correct, because initially this channel was supposed to be kind of a documentation of my own path and just recording what either way I would have been doing, which is hacking all these boxes and whatnot. And I just wanted to document it, right? But it's important to take a step back and to introduce kind of what it is that I'm doing to the broader audience that might have interest but don't even understand what's going on. And so shout out to Steve for this idea, and here goes. So when you look at the videos that I do, the main thing is that it's within the context of cybersecurity, right? And so what even is cybersecurity? And often cybersecurity is used interchangeably with information security, which is essentially just the protection of all things digital, whether it be computers, documents, software, all kinds of digital information to protect against attacks or threats online falls within the industry of cybersecurity. And going forward, I will just use cybersec or cybersecurity instead of information security, but just know that they are all kind of the same thing. And if I forget something or a little detail or whatnot, just know that I am also still learning. So yes. Anyway, so my journey into this industry has been an improbable one. I came from a different industry, studying a different field, and about 5 years ago I made the jump into cybersecurity and decided this might be it, right? But I didn't have any of the learnings, any of the skills necessary to even enter this field. I didn't know anything about Linux, I didn't know anything about the command line, nothing about programming, let alone hacking. And so I had to learn to start from the very, very basics and just grind my way through everything you should and would have learned during university course, I guess, in computer science. And when I started, the field was definitely not as big as it is today. Today you have million subscriber YouTubers, basically, like John Hammond or Nahamsek or Stuck, who's now left the industry in terms of video making. But all these people, how could I forget Hackersploit? Those were all the people that when I started learning cybersecurity and hacking, I looked up to and watched. And so since then, the journey has been pretty focused on how do I get to where I want to go, which is what I'm now going to introduce, the kind of 7 different layers of cybersecurity. So here are the 7 different paths that you can take if you find yourself wanting to come into cybersecurity. And I would say these are red teaming, blue teaming, purple teaming, I guess, penetration testing, incident response, security architecture, am I missing any? And I guess, yeah, ethical hacking. Did I say penetration testing? I think so. So those are kind of the different, and governance, risk, and compliance. How could I forget? GRC. So these are the different kind of layers. And you have to imagine when I was first on YouTube learning about what binary is, what hexadecimal is, what the command prompt is and everything, the goal wasn't right away hacking. I didn't even know that was a job path to even explore. But I was on YouTube just learning the things like you all do, like we all do. And all of a sudden I started getting recommendations about bug bounty hunting. And for me, it was just a eureka moment. I didn't know this was a job. And yeah, the rest is history. And so let's zoom in now on ethical hacking and penetration testing, and then by consequence also red teaming. Ethical hacking is essentially, let's say you have a company that wants to protect itself against potential threats. The company doesn't really know how these threats will try to attack it, and so they employ hackers that are bound by a moral code and ethics. They employ them to test their systems the way a hacker would, a black hat hacker, and I have to introduce that as well, to see and to make them aware of the vulnerabilities and the kind of loopholes, not really loopholes, but the type of ways in that a black hat hacker would take to get into their system. I hope I explained that somewhat okay. So this is the entire ethical hacking part, right? And so yes, let's go back to black hats, white hats, and grey hats. Essentially, different hackers do different things, right? You have the black hats who are more on the illegal side. They are the ones that you see on the news executing ransomware or sending all these phishing emails. And then you have the grey hat, the ones that navigate a bit of the two worlds. Not much information on those. And then you have the white hats, which hopefully with a bit of work I will be part of. And when it comes to red teaming is essentially somewhat the same thing. It comes from the military, the term. It's essentially a simulation of a real threat against an organization. And it's usually based around stealth, and it has an objective. So you have a very clear objective. So let's say a company, let's say a big search engine type company that is one of the biggest companies in the world, has a research and development department where they are working on technology that is very valuable and supposed to be secret. Well, they will then walk to a red team and say, we have this intellectual property that we want to protect no matter what. How can you get to that? That is all the information they give the red team. And the red team is essentially the most elite team of operators. They will do what they do to get to that information. When it comes to employing physical penetration testing, the names do sound funny, I have to say. They will employ all the tricks in the book to get to that objective. Now, my path within cybersecurity, as I've said before, took a bit of learning and courses, different resources, and a lot of studying. And today also I'm going to show you some of these resources that I used to learn everything that one should learn should he want to move into offensive security or pen testing or all that jazz. And the next part of this video is essentially going to be me showing you what this path may be. Obviously, the resources today are different ones than when I started. Thank God, because for me it was a lot of scouring the internet to find information. And within the last 5 years, it's been really incredible how many resources there are at your disposal to learn. And so let's explore this. All right, let's start with TryHackMe. TryHackMe was probably the one platform I used the most in the beginning, right? You can learn by doing these paths, okay? And there are learning paths, and essentially what you do here is you just go through them and you have these questions and vulnerable systems that they throw at you to just guide you through everything you have to learn. So let's say you do introduction to cybersecurity. You can see I did that once, and it will first introduce the industry, what I'm doing right now, and then it will walk you through basic networking. That is incredibly important. One thing that is incredibly important is it cannot be cheated. You have to put in the work, because it will show if there are gaps in your knowledge, and it will take time. It will take a lot of time, but the more effort you put into it, eventually you will do fine. So this module is rather small and it introduces everything, and yeah, it's really just a light introduction. And then what else do we have? We have the junior penetration tester. And another thing is, once you finish this course, you are not ready to enter the industry quite yet. It takes a lot more complete knowledge, but it's a start. It's a start. You will learn some of the good basics. Let's see, what do we have here? We have introduction to cybersecurity. We have the principles of security, hopefully better explained than what I'm doing, but it's okay. Then you've got the different vulnerabilities. Okay, this is very good. You've got Burp Suite, essentially the proxy between the client and the server. How do you manipulate requests and all of that jazz? Then you've got network security. Okay, yeah, this is very, very introductory. These are the basics, let's say. And then, what else can you do? Let's see. Yeah, there's different paths that do. I mean, TryHackMe does an incredible job. I was always a big fan of TryHackMe, and it has helped me a bunch. The next thing I would like to talk about is the platform I use the most, which is HackTheBox. So HackTheBox is an age-old platform, right? They have been around much longer than I even know. I think it's like 10, 20 years probably. And it used to have a certain quality to it. It's not as handheld as TryHackMe. It's much more difficult. And a way to prove this is that you still have a job board on HackTheBox. And companies know that certain ranks within HackTheBox get you a certain amount of skill. And so the employers will know, okay, this job proposal is only open to this rank. And I must say, this is pretty clever, because someone that has that rank on HackTheBox has proven that he has a certain skill. But I digress. Essentially, what HackTheBox is, and what all these platforms try to simulate, is they give you a system or multiple systems that simulate what you are likely to see in the real world. So let's say in the real world, you deal with a lot of websites. So one of these boxes will then test you on the knowledge of these websites, of your knowledge in hacking these websites. And that's essentially all HackTheBox is. You get a box, they're called boxes, and it's essentially just a simulation of a system you see in the real world. And I love it. I absolutely love HackTheBox. And the reason I love HackTheBox is because in the recent years, I guess they saw that the competition is coming up with these kind of guiding new students through the industry type of platforms, let's say. And so they created this academy. And I keep talking about this academy. And by the way, none of this is sponsored. I just really love these products, and so I'm showing them. But yeah, this academy is absolutely brilliant. Because of the certain quality that HackTheBox has always had, I believe that this is really the way to learn to become the best hacker you can be. I truly believe that. And here as well, you've got the different modules. You've got defensive security as well as offensive security. You've got fundamental ones. You've got introduction to Linux, introduction to Windows, all of the networking you might want, setting up. So how do you even connect to a VPN and all of that jazz? You really do have it all. And here as well, you then have different exams that will give you different certifications. Talking about certifications, let's get to that. So my path has been the following. I did Security Plus, which is CompTIA, also a big governing body within the industry. Essentially, to prove different skills, people have to go through different certifications. These certifications are, with all the hate they get, I do understand it. Cybersecurity is one of these industries that, for which a traditional school type path has not been drawn yet. It's more of a practical path. And so people that haven't gone to school, or have maybe gone to school, but then divert towards cybersecurity like I did, have to somehow show a potential employer how or what they know. And certifications do help with this, exactly. And CompTIA is one of these big governing bodies that makes these certifications. You've got other ones. You've got CEH, you've got Offensive Security, which I'll get into. You've got INE, which was previously eLearn Security. But essentially, given that I came into cybersecurity from a different industry, I have to go through these certifications. And so Security Plus is one that is not practical. It's very much a theoretical exam, but it helped because it helps give you a certain vocabulary, a certain knowledge of the theory of systems and the industry itself, and how to protect yourself and how to protect organizations. But it more than anything gives you the vocabulary to be able to talk in the professional world, to kind of know what you are talking about. Then, of course, if you really want to hammer down the basics, I would recommend doing Network Plus. Now, I learned networking through the various courses and YouTube videos and everything that I did, but if you really want to hammer down those points, Network Plus is pretty good. And then another certificating body is INE. And here, I spent a lot of time on this as well. I'm a big fan of paths, and I think a lot of people are. This handheld thing, it really is nice that someone's guiding you through the industry, but it can also be a trap. The industry is hard, and the problems that you face on an everyday life are technical and hard, and so being guided by a platform all the time might also be bad, because once that hand is not there, you have to think on your feet. But that's a topic for another time. Anyway, here is why you can practice for Security Plus. You can do a pen testing path, which will prepare you for EJPT. Here, the EJPT certification is the one that comes after this course. It's taught by Alexis Ahmed, who is Hackersploit. This guy has been a huge part of my own journey. I used to watch his videos religiously on YouTube, very top quality. And yeah, so I did the EJPT eventually, and then the certification that has a lot of mystique and gets a lot of hate. Some hate it, some love it. It's the gatekeeper kind of to the industry, and that's the OSCP, by Offensive Security. And in my humble opinion, if it matters, I understand that Offensive Security is such a gatekeeper. I mean, it has been around for a long time. It really hammers down the required skill or the required skills that you need to make an impact in the industry to actually be able to perform, because it's a high risk industry, right? And so I'm a big fan of offensive security, and as you all know, my path right now is practicing for their certification, which is the PEN 200, the OSCP, and it's hard. I failed the first time, but I will pass it the second time for sure. And yeah, so this is another certifying body that you will have to go through. And then, how could I forget? You also have the PNPT, and a lot has to be said about TCM security. TCM security has also been a big inspiration in my life personally, in my journey, let's say. On YouTube, I watched a lot of TCM security videos, and Adam Heath, I think is his name, for him to then create his own security company and his own courses and everything. Big respect to him. But essentially, this is another platform, a lot more affordable, with a lot more hands-on. Claimed to be a lot more realistic and just more up-to-date certifications and courses. Also, a big shout out to them. So this is another certification that you could be eyeing if you want to make your way in the industry. And I don't want to ramble too much, so I'm going to wrap this up. But essentially, this is what the videos that I post are all about. It's about my own journey, documenting what I do to reach that level of being a skilled and complete pen tester. And I want to emphasize one last thing, which is, the praise I've been receiving and the support I've been receiving has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been really humbling. But just know that we are learning together. We are on this journey together. And as much as you might find value in my videos, I am also still on that path and learning every day. And this is what it's all about in cybersecurity. It's essentially to be a lifelong learner. It will never stop. If you choose to go down this path into this industry, learning will never stop. As soon as you stop learning, you fall behind and you're going to be replaced, because the industry moves so quick, especially now with AI. It moves so fast, you will have to keep learning endlessly. But that's what makes it exciting, I find. It's a hard job by nature, because the people you are working against, so to say, well, for, but against, are very smart people, engineers, developers, web developers. They went to school, they did a lot of work to get to where they are to write these websites and applications, and you essentially have to break them. So by its nature, the job is hard, which is why you cannot be handheld too much. But yeah, I digress and I'm rambling. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for supporting me. Thank you guys for watching the videos. I hope this one was a good little introduction into what even cybersecurity is, what it is that I am doing, and I hope to see you in the next video and that you will enjoy the coming videos. I will continue making these Hack the Box videos and then Proving Grounds videos until I am ready for OSCP, and then what comes after that we shall see. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and all that. And yeah, peace.